Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Monday, April 20th, 2015, around 8:08 p.m. in Billerica, Massachusetts. Still cloudy out, still raining. It's about in the 40s. Hopefully tomorrow's a better day. Some news to report. Prayers to actress and comedian Roseanne Barr, who's suffering from glaucoma. That's a devastating eye disease that's eventually going to leave Roseanne Barr blind. So prayers to her. That's about it on that. My third and final video blog subject of the night is my personality profile. Tonight starts the first of 8 straight personality profiles of WWE managers who led their men to the WWE title. The first one I'm going to talk about is the guiding light, the late great Captain Lou Albano. Lou Albano was a wrestler and manager. He spent over 30 years in the world of sports entertainment. He was one of the first wrestlers to cross over to movies and acting and music videos. And here's Captain Lou Albano's personality profile. Captain Lou was actually born in Italy. His father was a pediatrician and his mother was a nurse. His father was going to school, medical school in Italy, because his family was Italian descent. His mother and father were born in the United States, but they were Italian descent. And back then, if you were going to medical school, it was free of charge for people who were Italian descent going over to Italy. So Captain Lou was born in Italy, but his family moved back to the United States and settled in Mount Vernon, New Jersey. Lou Albano is the oldest of 5 siblings, and all of his siblings became principals or in education. So he came from a smart family. Lou played football and track and field in high school, and he was actually the captain of his football team. That's how he got the name Captain Lou. And he got an athletic scholarship to Tennessee, the University of Tennessee, but he was thrown out of Tennessee for cheating on an exam. And then Captain Lou Albano went into the U.S. Army, but he was discharged after 8 months after suffering from some knee injuries. Then his father retired from a pediatrician, was going into the insurance business, and he asked Lou if he wanted to be an insurance salesman, but Lou could not imagine himself being in selling insurance, so he decided he wanted to be an athlete. He was thinking about becoming a boxer. His distant cousin was a boxer trainer, Lou Duva, and Lou introduced him to Willie Gerspick, who was actually one of the owners of Capitol Wrestling, and he said that Lou would make a good wrestler. He was trained by Bob Soldier and the Golden Boy Arnold Skolin, and he made his debut in the world of professional wrestling with Capitol Wrestling back in 1953. He wrestled for a few years as a baby face, but he wasn't not spectacular. Then he got a cut one time, and then when the promoters saw him with a cut, they instantly turned him heel, and they teamed him with Tony Antamonte, and they were called Sicilians. And for 10 years, the Sicilians were a great tag team, a mid-card tag team, and they won several regional tag team titles. They wore fedora hats and wore gloves, and they acted like they were from the mobster and the gangster and stuff like that. Lou was a very mediocre wrestler at best. He was not going to get singles. He wasn't going to get a singles push for a world title against Lou Thesz or Buddy Rogers or Vern Gagne or Bruno Sammartino. About 1970, Bruno Sammartino, who was then the WWF champion, suggested to Lou that you can make a good manager because you have a gift of gab, you have a good voice, you have a good talk, you could put wrestlers over if you're talking and stuff like that. Then Lou Albano suggested that idea to Vince McMahon Sr., and Vince McMahon Sr. agreed with that. In 1970, Lou Albano phased out becoming a wrestler, and he became a manager. His first man he managed was by the name of Crusher Verg Du, who was actually Spanish descent, who could not speak one word of English, and Lou Albano did all the talking for him and Crusher. Du had a feud with Bruno Sammartino over the WWF title. It was a long-running feud. Then Lou Albano managed Ivan Koloff, the Russian Bear, and he led Ivan Koloff to the WWF Championship by beating Bruno Sammartino at Madison Square Garden on January 18th, 1971, but it was only a 3-week title reign as Ivan Koloff dropped it to Pedro Morales at the Garden. But Lou Albano is known for managing tag teams. Lou Albano managed so many tag teams to WWF Tag Team Gold, including the Mongols and Tarzan Tyler and Luke Graham and Baron Mikel Shakluda and Curtis Kinayakeda, the Valiant Brothers, Jimmy and Johnny and Jerry and the Blackjacks, Mulligan and Lanza and the Executioners and the Yukon Lumberjacks and the Samoans, Arthur and Sika and the Moondogs, Rex and Spot and Kane and Mr. Fuji and Mr. Saito, and then the U.S. Express, Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo, and the British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith and the Dynamite Kid and the new Head Shrinkers and stuff like that. Lou Albano was like an evil heel manager. At first he wore business suits, but then he became so kind of casual and like run down and stuff. He would always wear shirts that were like Hawaiian shirts and stuff, and he wore like torn sometimes, and he had these rubber bands all over his mustache and stuff. And the late great Gorilla Monsoon says he was a walking advertisement for birth control. That's what Gorilla Monsoon said in commentating and stuff. And Lou Albano would interfere in his protege's matches usually, and sometimes he would get physically involved and be wrestling face wrestlers as well, and Lou Albano would bleed a lot. Also, Lou Albano would manage a lot of singles wrestlers, including Larry the Axe Henning, Moondog Mayne, Iron Mike McCord, Ken Patera, Angelo King Kong Mosca, Jimmy Superfly Snooker, the Magnificent Morocco, Greg the Hammer Valentine, the Spoiler, and so many others and stuff like that. And Lou Albano was such a great talker, and he would always cause trouble to Vince McMahon Sr. because every time when they had TV tapings, afterwards all of the wrestlers would go out for dinner with Vince McMahon Sr. and Lou would always get drunk and stuff like that, and Vince McMahon Sr. would fire him, but a couple of days later he would bring him back and stuff. And because Lou Albano was just one of a kind with his personality stuff and that, towards the mid-80s, Lou Albano became one of the first professional wrestlers to become mainstream. He was in the video Girls Just Want to Have Fun with Cyndi Lauper, and then eventually he became, in Time After Time, the video as well. Lou Albano was a great heel manager, but towards the end they turned him a face manager. Rowdy Piper attacked him with like a gold record and stuff on Madison Square Garden, turned him face, and Lou Albano's face one, was decent enough, but I loved him as a heel manager and stuff like that. He left the WWE in 1986, Lou Albano, and then he went into movies. He appeared in the movie Wise Guy with Danny DeVito and stuff, which was a decent movie. Lou Albano made several television appearances, including Miami Vice 227, Body Slam, the movie where he played a heel manager, like his Captain Lou Albano personality. And he also was in the Super Mario Brothers Super Show as a real life, as Mario in the skits, and then the voice of Mario in the cartoons and stuff like that. Lou Albano resurfaced in professional wrestling in 1990 with the UWF, owned by Herb Abrams. He had his own 900 number. He had his own talk show segment called Captain Lou's Corner and stuff. And he also managed Brian Belair as well. The UWF was Herb Abrams only lasted a year, then Lou Albano was out of the world of professional wrestling again. But he made a lot of appearances, signing autographs at conventions and stuff like that. In 1994, Lou Albano came back to the WWE to manage the Head Shrinkers to the WWE Tag Team titles, and it was a year run. Lou Albano lost a considerable amount of weight and looked thin and trim than ever and stuff like that. He left the WWE in 1995, and there was an offer made by Paul Heyman, owner of ECW. He wanted Captain Lou Albano to reprise his role as a evil heel manager, like bleeding and stuff and stuff like that. But Captain Lou had to turn Paul Heyman down because Lou was getting up there in age and he was having a heart condition and he couldn't take the bleeding anymore. He couldn't even take bumps anymore and stuff like that. And again, like Lou Albano had to turn Paul Heyman down, even though Paul Heyman, one of his heels was Captain Lou Albano and stuff like that. Lou Albano, like, wrestled a match like in 1986 and stuff. He had one match against classy Freddie Blassie in a steel cage match in Nassau Coliseum in 1985. It was the last match Freddie Blassie wrestled, and was one of the last matches Captain Lou Albano wrestled, and was horrible and stuff. It was a steel cage match. Lou Albano usually wore his like regular wrestling attire, which he would wear as a manager, and it was goddamn awful. I think Freddie Blassie had to come walking down with a cane. It was so awful, I heard. And then Lou Albano's Stu was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 1996, and for the rest of his life he made appearances at like wrestling conventions and stuff, and he appeared from time to time on WWE DVDs and like interviews on WWE Magazine and stuff. The last time he appeared on WWE television was in 2007 for Mr. McMahon Appreciation Night on Raw. Lou Albano suffered a major heart attack in like 2005, but he recovered. But by 2009, his health was deteriorating. He spent his final days in a hospice care. He passed away in October of 2009 at the age of 76. Captain Lou Albano was probably the best wrestling manager of all time because he was an excellent talker. He took a lot of big bumps. He bled a lot, and he would always go into the ring from time to time in like from the mid-70s to the mid-80s to face against face wrestlers, to get revenge on him, which was pretty good. And Lou Albano won several PWI Manager of the Year awards. He won the Editor's Award for PWI in 1994, and he's a guiding light for any wrestler he managed and stuff. And it was a song by him, "I'm a man of 1,000 faces, I will be going places, I'm gonna be a guiding light, Captain Lou Albano, Captain Lou Albano." That's about it on that, and that's about it on these video blogs. Be back tomorrow, 3 more video blogs. First one will be about Fox Sports West / Prime Ticket, and the second will be about the Kowloon, Eddie Andelman's favorite restaurant in the world. See you soon at the Kowloon. And the third and final video blog subject of the night will be about the late great WWE Hall of Fame manager, the Grand Wizard of Wrestling, who was Ernie Roth. I'm getting so many requests to do video blogs about this and video blogs about that. They'll eventually be coming because I have so many video blogs that I have weeks and weeks of them planned, and I can't bump one because of a request. But that request will be eventually be taken. Those video blogs will be taken care of probably when May comes around, because May is going to be a big month for these video blogs. Some subjects that are going to be very big and stuff. And when the first anniversary happens in June, I'm looking for guests. Maybe it'd be once a week or so. I might do a video blog, kind of a podcast, one of a very special guest and stuff every single week. If you want to be a guest, I'm open for any guest I want. Maybe one of these days I could finally do it like a like a video blog podcast with Julie Broughton. Well, I'll be back tomorrow. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. See you later.